Most entrepreneurs think that they're building systems, but they're actually just creating more work for themselves. I see this all the time. People talking about systematizing their business, right? But what they really mean is writing down what they do so someone else can follow the same manual process. That's not a system. That's just documented labor. And I know this because I used to think the same exact way. My name is Antonio, and I've spent years managing operations across different businesses in different industries and different countries, handling everything from marketing and sales to finance and team management. And for most of that time, I thought I was being systematic because I had processes written down and workflows mapped out, but I was still the bottleneck in everything. I remember hitting this breaking point where I was managing multiple teams across different companies, working crazy hours, and I just completely burned out. I realized I wasn't building systems that could work without me. I was building systems that depended on me. In this video, I'm going to break down what systems actually are, why most people get them wrong, and the simple framework I use to build systems that actually work without you having to be involved. And if you're trying to build something that runs without you constantly managing it, this is going to change how you think about everything. So here's what most people think a system is. They think it's a step-by-step checklist that someone can follow to get the same result every time. And look, I do agree that that's part of it, but that's like saying a car is just an engine. You're missing out on all the other parts that actually make it work. Let me give you an example. Let's say you run a small business and you want to systematize your customer service. Most people will write down something like this. Step 1, read the customer email. Step 2, identify the problem. Step 3, send the appropriate response. And step 4, follow up in 24 hours. And they will literally call this a system. But what happens when you get a complaint that doesn't fit your standard responses? What happens when the person handling customer service is sick? What happens when you get 50 emails instead of 5? The whole thing breaks down because it's not actually a system. It's just a checklist that depends on you being there to handle anything that goes wrong. See, I learned this the hard way when I was managing different teams. I'd create these detailed process documents, train people on them, and then leave for a week thinking everything would run smoothly. I'd come back to chaos. Projects were stalled, decisions weren't being made, problems weren't even getting solved. See, most entrepreneurs make 3 fundamental mistakes when they think about systems. Mistake number 1, they confuse processes with systems. So let me break it down. A process is just a sequence of steps. A system is multiple processes working together with built-in ways to handle problems and improve over time. Mistake number 2, they don't assign clear ownership. They create process documents that nobody actually owns to make sure the end result happens. So when something goes wrong, everyone assumes somebody will fix it. If everyone is responsible, no one is responsible. Mistake number 3, they measure the wrong things. They track activity instead of results. They count how many emails were sent instead of how many customers were actually helped. They measure how busy people are instead of how much value is being created. And this is why their systems don't actually work. So let me tell you what a system actually is. A system is a collection of inputs, processes, and outputs that work together to achieve a predictable result with someone responsible for the outcome and a way to measure if it's working. Let me break that down in simple terms. You have your inputs. These are the things that go into your system. For customer service, it might be customer emails or phone calls. Then you have processes. These are the steps that turn your inputs into outputs. But good processes include decision points for different situations and different ways to handle exceptions. And then you have your outputs. These are the results that you want. For customer service, it's not just, oh, I responded to an email. It's this customer's problem was solved and the customer is satisfied. That's your output. Then you have ownership. It's one person who is responsible for the entire system working. They're not just following the steps. And then lastly, you have measurement. You track metrics that tell you if the system is actually achieving what you want. When I started thinking about systems this way, everything changed. And here's the beautiful part. When you build systems this way, they get better over time without you constantly needing to manage them. So how do you build a system that actually works? I use what I call the map, measure, mechanize framework. It's simple, but really powerful. First, you map out what's actually happening right now. What work is coming in? How is it being handled? What results are you getting? Who's doing what? Most people skip this step and jump straight into creating new processes. But you can't fix what you don't understand. Second, you figure out what metrics actually matter. Not busy work metrics, but outcome metrics. Things that tell you whether your system is working or it's not. Third, you automate what can be automated and systematize what can't. This is where you remove yourself from the day-to-day operations. Look, I know this might seem like common sense, but here's the thing. Most people are dealing with complexity in a chaotic way. Systems thinking doesn't add complexity. It organizes the complexity that's already there. And here's why this matters. If you don't build real systems, you will always be the bottleneck. You'll always be working in your business instead of on your business. You'll always be one step away from everything falling apart when you're not there. But when you understand what systems actually are and how to build them correctly, everything changes. You grow without chaos. You can scale without burning out. You can build something that works whether you're there or not. And to be real, that's the difference between having a job and owning a business. And that's why I'm starting this channel. I want to share the frameworks and tools that actually work for building systems that scale. Not theory, not generic business advice, just real practical strategies that we've been using, whether you're managing a team of 2, 20, or 200. I'm going to show you how to use technology and automation as tools within your systems. And I'm going to break down how to build operations that run themselves. I'm also going to be sharing simple frameworks for going from chaos to clarity. And I'm going to do it all in plain, simple language that you can actually understand and implement. So that's the fundamentals of systems, what they actually are and why most people get them wrong. So if that sounds valuable to you, hit the subscribe button because I'm going to show you how to build systems that work without you having to manage every detail. And I'll see you in the next one.